Donald Trump took the stage holding a sheaf of talking points, while Barack Obama took his with something much more difficult to argue with truth, conveyed in a calm, unwavering confidence that would soon spark a viral phenomenon. This wasn't going to be another forgettable political show. The whole nation knew something historic was about to take place. People rescheduled appointments, left dishes in the sink, and parked themselves in front of glowing television screens and laptop displays. This was Primetime Live, with Barack Obama and Donald Trump topping the bill at the San Jose Civic Auditorium. Its 3,000 seats sold out, aisles filled, and walls lined with eager spectators. The crowd hummed with charged chatter, friends exchanging predictions, strangers arguing like sports announcers. Two matching podiums faced the audience, angled in toward each other. A confrontation all but promised by the setup. Lighting was bright and clinical, so not a smirk or a frown could remain concealed. Officially, it was a bipartisan town hall on economic recovery, a forum to present solutions, share insights, and remain civil, but everyone, moderators included, knew it was actually a political showdown in tailored suits. Signs sprinkled throughout. The crowd, some handmade, some printed, read, "Bring back integrity, 4 more years, and truth matters." Backstage, a makeup artist dabbed powder along Obama's cheekbone, while a producer murmured, "We're living 90 seconds. Obama merely nodded, papers crisply stacked on his podium next to a pen and a glass of water. No frills, just receipts. Trump's side was different, a jumble of note cards, an uncapped Sharpie, and an agitated candidate pacing, looking toward the stage entrance as his advisors whispered about unemployment statistics and job creation graphs. The countdown reached 10, and a silence swept the room like a slow wave. Moderators Paul Landers and Monica Rivera moved forward, Paul's voice slicing the quiet. "Good evening, America. Tonight, we bring you a conversation between the 44th and current 45th presidents of the United States. Our topic: economic recovery and bipartisan cooperation in a post-pandemic America." Applause swelled politely as the camera panned wide. Trump took the stage first with a measured stride and a practiced half smile, and was cheered by one side, and booed spottily by the other. Obama followed leisurely, scanning the room, met with a steady, rhythmic applause. They shook hands curtly, eyes level, inscrutable. Monica started, "Gentlemen, we'll begin with opening statements. You each have 2 minutes." Trump thanked the audience, then dove into a list of his administration's accomplishments, record jobs, soaring markets, pandemic relief, his side applauding while cameras captured skeptical faces. Obama, in turn, thanked the moderators, the audience, and even Trump for committing to open dialogue. His tone was warm but measured, implying he'd come for more than politeness. He credited progress, but added that economic recovery needed to reflect the reality in people's homes and paychecks, not just on paper. The first questions were boosting small business, managing inflation, but tension lurked underneath. A Reno, Nevada restaurant owner rose to inquire about pandemic relief funds. "I applied twice," she asserted, "but we never saw a dime." Trump labeled her situation an unfortunate exception, stating most received the assistance they needed, referencing White House-approved reports without specificity. Obama listened, then responded evenly. "Actually, I've seen the numbers. Statewide in Nevada, close to 18% of small businesses that applied for relief never received it. That's not an exception. That's nearly 1 out of 5. He addressed her directly, his acknowledgement sincere and feeling unplanned. The atmosphere shifted. Even people watching at home could sense it. The exchange now had teeth. But the moment that would come to characterize the evening was a breath away, and the very next question would blow the door open wide as Paul Landers adjusted his glasses and leaned into the microphone. Paul Landers called the next question, introducing Daniel Cortez, a teacher from Fresno, California, who stepped forward holding a folded paper and asked both men, but starting with, "President Obama, how to sort truth from political spin when job growth numbers don't jive with lived reality." Obama didn't haste, leaning slightly on the podium. He said numbers are like snapshots. You can frame them however you wish, but only when you look at the entire album do you get the truth. He used the administration's recent report of record job growth, pointing out they left out that most were temporary or part-time without benefits, and 43% were in the lowest-paying sectors according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Trump's lips compressed as Obama emphasized progress is real, but telling struggling individuals, "We've never had it this good. Isn't there reality?" The crowd rumbled, some cheering, others booing. Trump snapped back, labeling Obama's point a distortion, and stating the economy was stronger than ever, with millions of jobs being created. Obama remained unruffled, inviting Daniel to check the sources, Bureau of Labor Statistics and Department of both administered by Trump's administration, and dared anyone to prove him wrong. The response was surgical, no yelling, just evidence. Monica Rivera, sensing heat, moved to the next question. But Trump jumped in, accusing Obama of trying to tell him how to do his job. Obama answered, even though he wasn't here to teach, but to make sure the public had clarity and would speak up against misinformation from anybody. Applause came from one side, rumblings from the other. Regaining the floor, Obama stated economic. Recovery isn't about charts. It's whether a Wichita single mother can buy groceries without cutting into gas money, or a Phoenix veteran can receive benefits before being evicted. Trump irritably chuckled, waving these off as little anecdotes, but Obama said real life was made up of those stories. There was silence in the room until Monica turned to pandemic relief distribution. Obama started by saying the administration's assertion that 92% of relief money had reached recipients was technically accurate, only if any processed application qualified as success. Treasury's audit showed that nearly 14% were delayed more than 6 months, up to 20% in rural areas, resulting in closures before the money arrived. Trump pointed at Democrat-controlled states, but Obama held up the audit published by Trump's own Treasury, saying the bottlenecks were federal. The crowd reaction was louder. Obama's quiet precision was hitting harder than Trump's volume, and a flicker of irritation crossed Trump's face. The next question, from Laura Benton, owner of a hardware store in Flagstaff, Arizona, told of qualifying for relief but never receiving the money and being forced to lay off workers. Trump sympathized, said most businesses received relief promptly, and blamed red tape in the states. Cameras cut to Obama leafing through papers. He told Laura her experience wasn't unique. Treasury's oversight report indicated more than 120,000 approved small business applications were unfunded, dying in the federal pipeline. Trump denied it, but Obama held the report up to the camera, dated February 8th during Trump's administration, inviting viewers to check. Applause and catcalls broke out as Laura appeared stunned. Trump accused him of cherry-picking, claiming fraud prevention saved billions. Obama agreed fraud prevention was necessary, but warned that when prevention became paralysis, those who needed it were left waiting. Obama's voice cut through with an edge of irony as he said that while legitimate businesses waited, some of the biggest fraud cases were from companies with the fastest approvals, a blow that landed hard, and gasps and cheers erupted. Trump shook his head, muttering ridiculous into the microphone, but Monica Rivera tried to push forward to job creation. Figures. Trump wasn't finished, accusing Obama of using smooth talk to make things sound worse than they were. Obama turned fully to face him, calling out the claim of historic success by citing Bureau of Labor Statistics data proving the net gain was 1.8 million jobs after subtracting prior pandemic losses, not the claimed 5 million. Still progress, Obama said, but inflating it didn't help hurting Americans. The crowd erupted. Moderators struggled to restore order as Trump sharpened his tone, attacking Obama's presidency. Obama countered it wasn't about his or Trump's record, but about being truthful with the American people, and he challenged Trump to own up if numbers were inflated or prove them to be true. Trump evaded answering, turning the topic to healthcare and foreign policy. But Obama brought the topic back to Laura's question about lost job due to unfunded relief, to loud applause. Paul Landers pressed Trump on the Treasury figures. Trump asserted the report was an error. Obama's dry retort, "Your Treasury report is wrong?" Through laughter and viral screenshots of the report's header on Obama's podium. Social media erupted, hashtags forming, as Laura's story hung over the debate. The next question about closing the wealth gap went to Obama, who spoke without notes. Wealth gaps are policy-made, and recovery must be more than stock highs. Should allow students to afford tuition and retirees not lose their homes. Trump interrupted, terming the gap exaggerated and claiming universal betterment. Obama countered by referencing audience members' actual struggles, leading Trump to accuse him of cherry-picking sad stories. Obama's calm response, "You can't measure the health of a country by its stock portfolio," brought laughter and applause. When Trump claimed Americans were winning again, Obama cited unemployment falling from 10% to below 5% on his watch, reminding Trump he'd inherited a growing economy. Monica attempted to refocus on solutions, and Obama suggested automatic relief triggers based on economic indicators to work around political gridlock. Trump waved it off as socialism. Obama likened it to hurricane disaster relief, which brought louder applause. When Paul Landers asked if Trump would consider the measure if proven to save jobs, Trump claimed jobs had already been saved better than anyone in history. Obama countered with Treasury data indicating 8% of small businesses that sought relief had closed, leading Trump to cry, "Fake numbers." Obama reminded him they were his own administration's figures, and the energy in the room shifted toward standoff data versus dismissal. Trump accused Obama of trying to make him look bad. Obama replied, "This isn't a show. It's the truth. And the truth doesn't change just because it's inconvenient," sparking the loudest applause yet. The moderators exchanged knowing glances as social media was blowing up with split screen. Images, Trump's reddening face alongside Obama's calm gaze, being analyzed in real time. A pre-submitted question from Bryce, a college student from Omaha, inquired how recovery would find young people entering the workforce. Trump asserted it was already doing so with better wages and more jobs. Obama's response was measured. Not all opportunities were worth praising if graduates couldn't pay rent. Youth employment was up, but more than 40% of those jobs were part-time, or gig work with no benefits, no stability, no health coverage, and no security, prompting Bryce to nod quietly as his mic descended. The audience absorbed not only the substance of the answers, but also the stark difference in delivery. And at that very moment, a clip of Obama's earlier jab, "Your Treasury report is wrong," crossed the 5 million view mark on Twitter, where users were turning it into reaction memes and looping Trump's pause for comedic effect, while cable news producers bookmarked it for post-show analysis. On Instagram, political satirist Lisa Atkins posted a screenshot of Trump mid-interruption with the caption, "This is what happens when you forget the homework's due," racking up tens of thousands of likes. Monica Rivera tried steering the focus back to solutions, asking what each would say to a young family worried about rising costs, prompting Trump to lean in with a promise of tax cuts, fewer regulations, and more jobs as the best path to put more money in people's pockets. But Obama countered without pause, saying corporate tax cuts don't guarantee families see a dime. And what truly helps is lowering essential cost childcare, healthcare, housing so that paychecks stretch further and people can breathe. A phrase that rippled through the room with applause, even from some Trump supporters. Backstage, a producer whispered, "This is getting away from him," as online polls showed Obama leading by double digits in the first 50,000 votes. And Trump's frustration became more visible as he accused Obama of making everything sound bad, to which Obama replied that if Trump believed Americans were doing better, he should welcome every fact that proved it, and admit it when the facts told a different story, drawing applause and a low whistle from the crowd. With social media now amplifying Obama schooling Trump with his own data and hashtags like calm versus chaos, the tipping point came when Frank Dalton, a retired auto worker from Toledo, asked Trump why billion-dollar corporations got relief faster than working people like him after losing his pension of 38 years, silencing the room. Trump offered sympathy, but insisted saving big companies save jobs, to which Frank replied flatly, "I didn't get saved," prompting Obama to point out the $500 billion in corporate aid passed before direct worker assistance, calling it looting with permission when those companies paid bonuses and still cut jobs, earning thunderous applause. Trump shot back that Obama was twisting it, citing the markets as proof of success, but Obama countered that the markets weren't the measure of Frank's life. You don't retire on the Dow Jones, you retire on the pension you earned. The loudest applause yet. The exchange escalated, with Trump accusing Obama of failing to rebuild the auto industry, and Obama insisting he demanded accountability and didn't allow CEOs to take bonuses while cutting pensions, drawing another audience roar when he said helping workers starts with honesty about who really got helped. Paul Anders pressed Trump directly on why corporations got faster relief, and Trump replied, "That's how you save the economy, start at the top and let it flow down," only for Obama to shoot back that in practice. It hasn't flowed down, but pulled at the top, sparking laughter on one side and cheers on the other, with networks seizing on the split-screen contrast of Trump's sharp, chopping gestures and Obama's steady gaze. Looting with permission began trending alongside leadership-style comparisons. But the defining moment came when the moderators shifted to transparency and government spending, letting Trump boast about unprecedented openness and data availability, which Obama dismantled by saying transparency isn't just posting numbers, but making sure they mean something. Then holding up a page listing the top 20 relief recipients, $15 billion companies, 8 of which laid off workers, dismissing Trump's cherry-picking accusation with the line, "If the bad examples cost taxpayers billions and left workers out in the cold, they're not small details. They're the narrative." Before the knockout line, "You can't call victory because you threw a parade while people were still digging themselves out of the wreckage," which got a wave of applause, cheers, and guffaws that drowned out Trump's attempt to get a word in. Twitter lit up with political analyst Jules Harper's clip titled, "Parade in the Wreckage Obama just shut the argument down in one sentence," with 100,000 likes in an hour, while television headlines declared the line had stolen the show. Trump tried to catch up by insisting errors came with moving fast, but Obama's calm retort, "Mistakes are human," acting like they never occurred, is politics. The people deserve the first of these, not the second, swung even wavering audience. Members to his disciplined command thought it bore the authority of one who'd been through this before, and knew precisely when to deliver. And in the production truck outside, a technician grumbled, "That's the soundbite." That's the lead, knowing every highlight reel would center on that single sentence. TikTok lit up with reaction videos, some splicing the clip with sports knockouts, Others slowing it down with dramatic music, and even political opponents on late-night streams admitted the delivery was flawless. Though moderators moved on, the energy had shifted. Trump's interruptions now more frequent but less effective, often drowned by crowd reactions, while Obama, sensing momentum, let pauses hang just long enough for applause or murmurs to swell, pushing social media polls from a 12-point lead to gaps of 20+ as comment threads narrated the event like a sporting match. Still, Trump jabbed at Obama's foreign policy and healthcare record, but Obama refused to be pulled off topic, keeping control until a commercial break left the control room certain. Parade in the rubble had sealed the night's narrative. When cameras returned, the air felt charged, and the moderators went straight to a deceptively simple question: biggest mistake the other made on the economy and what they do differently. Trump, claiming Obama strangled growth with overregulation and that tax cuts like his would have brought earlier booms. But Obama, unflinching, countered that Trump's biggest mistake was confusing speed for success, likening it to chasing a train in the wrong direction, which drew laughs and applause, followed by a specific critique of rushed payroll tax cuts that boosted those who didn't need it while leaving out many who did. Trump shot back that millions benefited, but Obama's pointed reply that extra money doesn't matter when rent spikes. Groceries double, and $20 buys less sparked another eruption. In the control room, producers cued replays as Lost Faster trended alongside Parade in the Rubble, and the talk shifted to future stability, Trump promising more tax cuts, deregulation, and trade deals, Obama offering targeted investments in infrastructure, education, and healthcare with tangible examples. When a Sacramento nurse asked about medical debt, Trump gave a quick market-based answer, but Obama told of a friend's father bankrupt from cancer bills despite insurance, calling an economy built on such fragility unworthy of the label strong, prompting unprompted applause, even from Trump's side. Trump accused Obama of painting collapse, but Obama said he wasn't defending a legacy, only the truth, his calm dismantling contrasting Trump's rapid defenses as the final audience. Question from Erica in Santa Fe asked for specific plans for the next generation, Trump giving broad strokes on jobs and energy, Obama outlining affordable education, universal health care, and climate-resilient infrastructure with real-life impacts before the last break. Off-air, Trump's aides huddled tense while Obama's team stayed relaxed, producers agreeing the closing wouldn't change the story. When the event ended, Trump left quickly, skipping the moderators, while Obama lingered to shake hands, chat, and take selfies with students, leaving a visual contrast that capped the live broadcast. Within an hour, cable news looped Parade in the Rubble, MSNBC, calling it the cleanest political takedown in a decade. Fox conceding Obama landed punches, and online polls showing him winning 62 to 78%. Hashtags trending globally, and TikTok remixing the moment into knockout compilations. Late-night hosts joked Obama brought a folder to a fistfight, and the folder won, while fact checks confirmed his Treasury report stats and challenged Trump's job growth claims. In Toledo, Frank Dalton, the retired auto worker, told reporters, Obama gave the only straight answer, and Republican strategist Bill Hartman warned you can't beat Obama in a data fight without your own numbers. Polls showed a 9-point jump in Obama's favorability by Monday, Trump's support among independents down 5 points, and a White House briefing dismissing the event as a staged ambush failed to name any wrong statistics. In cafes and offices, conversations kept circling the Treasury report exchange, the corporate relief question, and Parade in the Rubble, which had become shorthand for truth versus spin, inspiring younger voters to share clips of Obama as the standard for composure and prompting even Trump's own party to murmur concerns. One of the Republican lawmakers, speaking off the record with a journalist, explained that while the president's tough base thrives on the fight, independents don't, and last night only made it wider. By midweek, the narrative had fallen into a familiar pattern. Obama was praised for being calm, matter-of-fact, and relatable, while Trump was scolded for being combative and light on substance. This wasn't just political theater any longer. It had become a textbook case study in the overnight power of public opinion. But through the headlines, the hashtags, and the hot takes, there was one thread that kept popping up, the ongoing feeling that truth, expressed simply and unvarnished, can still cut through the noise. The same idea would carry over to the final chapter of this story, when the lesson wasn't so much who won a debate, but what leadership is both in front of and behind the teleprompter. The town hall dust had barely been settled before the bigger question emerged. What did all of this back and forth say about America? Beyond the viral clips and snappy one-liners, people were discussing something deeper, the way two men, a previous one and the current president, tackled the same problem using entirely different approaches. Essentially, it was not so much personality difference, but a differences in approach issue. One had its foundation in volume, bluster, and repetition, and the other had its foundation in patience, precision, and fact, and that division had reverberations that extended far outside the San Jose Civic Auditorium. Post-debate, Obama refused to frame the moment as a victory for the person. Rather, again and again, he drove home one message: facts are important, and they shouldn't be in the hands of one political party. They're in the hands of the people. His message was a rebuke that the best leadership is not trying to make points, but providing clarity when most is at stake. Trump, on his part, told a rally in Las Vegas a week later that the town hall was a setup and fake news, and brushed off the viral moments as media manipulation. His supporters cheered him on, but even some speaking off record acknowledged that the optics hadn't worked in his favor. Behind with the citizens who had asked questions that night, Laura from Flagstaff, Frank from Toledo, the nurse from Sacramento, each one told reporters the same thing. They had felt heard when Obama replied. Not just acknowledged, but actually heard, and that, they suggested, was the difference. Political analysts noted that the evening's lesson extended far beyond argumentation skill and facts. It was one of staying calm under fire. Obama's even temper increased his trustworthiness, while Trump's visible frustration undermined his. As one writer put it, voters may not remember every statistic, but they remember how you made them feel. In schools nationwide, civics teachers were already using video clips from the broadcast as teaching tools. At one Ohio high school, a teacher halted the tape after Obama's parade in the rubble and inquired of students why it struck more powerfully than all the shouting. The answers were telling: because he stayed calm, because it sounded real, not rehearsed, because it was short but effective. Even those who politically differed with Obama admitted the impact of his delivery. One right-wing pundit stated, "You might disagree with him, but you can't say he wasn't prepared." That's what winning looks like in a high-stakes moment. For Obama, the episode reaffirmed his belief that speaking the truth bluntly, even if it hurts, is more significant than manipulating it to elicit applause. For Trump, it was a reminder that in an era of instant replay and viral soundbite, every word and every phrase will be dissected and replayed ad infinitum. For the nation, it was a call to consider what is most esteemed about a leader. Do we esteem the loudest voice in the room, or the voice that explains the truth in a manner that stands the test of time? Throughout the next few days, social media buzz died down and a news cycle went on, but that night in San Jose lingered in people's minds as political shorthand for how quickly a story can be flipped on its head when preparation meets opportunity. The lesson, as most concluded, was straightforward. Facts don't need to yell to be heard, but they do require someone to recite them loudly enough without regard for what will happen. And that is really the real lesson of the town hall. Not just that Obama won or Trump lost, but that the public was reminded what accountability looks like under the brightest lights. It's about being calm, talking to the audience like they're intelligent and not hiding truth in noise. So, whether you tune into politics constantly or just catch glimpses of headlines, the question for us is when the next big moment arrives, and will we give it to the one who screams the loudest, or the one who stands his ground? With the facts, if you like hearing stories that cut through the static and notice the moments that truly matter, sign up today so you don't miss the next one, because the next conversation might be bigger than politics and speak directly to the kind of future we all want to live.